Well, in our last interview, the biggest clip that reacted, which is at almost 2 million views, was the part about you talking about Bruce Lee. It's kind of ironic also, and I just thought about this, how in, your friend Quentin Tarantino, in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, there was a scene where you see Brad Pitt's character basically beating up Bruce Lee, like kicking him into a car. Heard Bruce Lee's family was pretty upset over that.
I can see. Yeah, that painted him to be an asshole.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, that's an issue I had with that movie. Because what to me spoke loud was that, what I've heard was that Quentin was going to use either Bruce Lee or Jim Brown for that character to beat up. If that was Jim Brown...
That would have been realistic. Jim Brown would have beaten up Brad Pitt in real life.
I'd be pretty damn pissed off about it because Jim
is still alive.
I don't know. I got my issues with that whole Bruce Lee or Jim Brown thing. Why? Just really why?
Right, because in the movie, Bruce Lee said that he could beat Muhammad Ali, and that's when.
I don't believe it. Well, was he written saying that?
Well, that was in the movie.
But I can't imagine Bruce Lee saying that he could beat Muhammad Ali.
I don't think he said that. Muhammad Ali was what, 6'2", 250?
This is my argument. I'm sorry. That's but when you
a professional fighter on top of that.
Yeah, when you're talking to people who Bruce Lee's I idolize Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
I idolize Bruce Lee too. But still, there's reality. There's real fighters who bleed and feed their families. I'm not going to say Bruce Lee is on the level of a real fighter. That's not what he does.
Did Bruce Lee ever fight in tournaments?
No.
Actual events where someone is trying to hurt you, as opposed to movies.
No,
where it's all make believe.
When you don't, if your skill set is not fighting, a professional fighter can be rusty, right? The reflexes. If you've never done it and you're fighting a professional fighter, you're way out of your depth.
Yeah.
It's just. But to try to explain that to people who are non-fighters and just sycophants, it's like you're wasting your time. But never in the history. Okay, movies are made up of little guys beating up big guys, but that's in a movie. That's in a movie. There's no guy that's 100 pounds lighter, Bruce Lee being 132, 135, beating a guy that's 220 pounds, who is a professional assassin. That's ridiculous. Even if you got a guy at 135 and fighting a guy that's 160, that is a massive, massive imbalance. That almost never happens. That's unfair. That's why we have weight classes. That's unfair.
Yeah.
And so 100 pounds more is insane.
Yeah. Remember when MMA first started, when UFC first started, there was no weight classes.
Right.
And it was like a shit show.
Exactly. But it was a little manipulated. The UFC stuff is manipulated. You got a guy with a gi who can use it as, he can choke someone. And then the people that he was fighting over there, they were not the top of the line fighters.
Right. But in our last interview, you said that you could beat Bruce Lee just because of the weight difference and so forth, and everyone got upset.
I wish I didn't say that. This is, that's silly of me to. That's my hero as well. But it's like, come on. He's 132. Stop. It's kind of like, I shouldn't have said that. I should have said Bruce Lee. It would have been hard for him to beat anybody over 150, because when you. A 132-pound person, it's hard for them to even hurt somebody 150.
Well, okay. If you take away the weight class, the weight difference, you being a professional fighter, and you have black belts in 8 different martial arts. You have championships.
Yeah.
The U.S. Open and everything else like that. When you look at Bruce Lee on camera and you see him doing his fight moves and everything else like that, would you say that Bruce Lee is a strong fighter if you were to put him into an actual match, or is it all theatrics?
I would say he would look great. I mean, he is the best physically. Like he there's nobody near him in films. But if he were to fight a fighter equal weight and size, it'd be hard for him to do that because that's not his skill set. Fighters get hit in the face by other, you know, guys that are 130 and under, you really see knockouts very much. It's because their skulls can withstand another 130-pound guy hitting them. It's the heavyweights that can't take too many blows from each other.
Yeah.
But so two guys, equal weight, trading blows, it's very difficult for a non-fighter to defeat a fighter who's used to getting hit in the face and walking through it. It's not beauty. You know, it's not a beauty contest. It's being effective. So, you know, if I'm talking about professional fighting, yeah, it would be amazing if someone like Bruce Lee, who theoretically fought a actual fighter and beat them. That would be one of the most amazing things. That would be one of the most amazing things that would ever have happened, because that's never happened.